Stellar Lumens hasn't done a whole lot since our big correction earlier in December, but that's not necessarily a bad thing for this crypto in particular. We're looking at our primary pattern, which is marked with green lettering, as the formerly primary purple pattern is no longer on the chart. That was, of course, invalidated with our spike down when our would-be microsecond wave pulled back below the origin of the micro first wave. So that pattern's gone. I've removed it from the chart. And ever since our bottom in early December, we've made some progress, but not a huge amount of progress. So we have the makings of what may be a micro 1-2 right here. So we have a rally that started around December 17th, had a nice little peak on December 27th. And this could be interpreted as an impulse wave. It's not the prettiest thing. You could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of up and down, choppy. Not the cleanest thing, but we have some more bullish looking patterns in some of the other cryptocurrencies. And our pullback so far looks relatively corrective. We've pulled back just about exactly to the 76.4% retrace mark, which is a pretty deep retrace, but nothing out of the ordinary. When we look at that MACD, we've already started to curl back up. So there's a glimmer of growth here, that there might be a setup coming. If this is actually a 1-2, I'd like this thing to make it up to about 36 to 37 cents, somewhere in that range. That would be the standard top for an impulse based on this micro 1-2. That would give us a larger 1-2 to work with. And from that, we could project something a little bit bigger, give us a bit more, give us a bit more meat behind this rally here. So that's the green pattern. So just to review, we had our rally that started from July. So mid-July, we had a low. We had 5 up. I'm still calling that our first wave. So this is marked with the Roman numeral 1 in parentheses. And I'm interpreting this whole thing as just an expanded B wave flat. So you have an A, B, and a C for our wave 2 correction. There is a bearish pattern, an alternate that is still definitely lurking in the background, and that's the red pattern. And that has this entire rally being an A, or well, the correction being an A, this whole rally being a fake out B wave, which would be, which would have some credibility because this looks like an A, B, C. I don't have the red letters marked here for that. And then we have a C wave that may or may not be done. If that's the case, it would go a bit lower. So right now, our support that I would like us to hold is about 24.7 cents, right in that range. That is the low that we hit on around December 15th. Really don't want to see us break that. There is the possibility for us to break lower than that without jeopardizing our current green primary pattern. And in that case, we could break below 24.7 cents, but we'd have to stay above the 19-cent mark, which is marked with the red pattern. Really, this should be marked with the red line, because this is actually a major support. That's what we're looking at short term. When we look at the big picture, this will become a little bit more clear. We're going to see that we have our green pattern that is now the primary. Once again, the purple pattern has been removed from this chart as we have invalidated it. And basically, this pattern has this whole blow-off rally that ended in May of 2021 as a large wave 1 marked in green. The wave 2 is this subsequent fall. This does have a 3-wave structure to it. It retraced quite deep, actually. This was actually it's actually an exactly 76.4% retrace. So that number will sound familiar. Elliott waves are fractal by nature, so perhaps Stellar Lumens has a history of having really deep second waves. If that's the case, there's some hope here that will perform better later. When we look at the history of it, we do seem to do nothing, and then just take off parabolically in just insane, explosive fashion. So there is precedent for that. The red pattern, of course, has this entire correction being the A wave of our wave 2. This rally just being a zigzag 3-wave correction for wave B. And we would be in the middle of a C wave now that hasn't completed yet. Where this C wave would fall, I really can't get an estimate for, because if you take a 1-to-1 ratio of the A wave to the C wave, that would very likely put us in negative territory. So there's really not a good rule of thumb to tell us where we would end up, provided that we do hold our 24.7 cent support, which is marked with the red line here. Our third wave right now is targeting between 57 cents and 62 cents. Those are just the standard Fibonacci extension targets based on what we were calling the 1-2. So the high point would be where this first wave is. The B wave, of course, went a little higher. That is just what a B wave flat is. Not a B wave flat. A flat correction is, in which the B wave exceeds the top of the previous peak. Once we hit that target box within subwave 3, expect maybe a multi-month subwave 4, and then our final subwave 5 top is targeting between 66 and 71 cents. This, of course, I would expect to coincide with a major top in Bitcoin and Ethereum across all cryptos. If this pattern is what I think it is, if this really is just a larger wave 1, that is part of a much larger wave 3, we shouldn't have that deep of a wave 2. Now, as I mentioned, Stellar Lumens does have a history of pretty deep wave 2, so we could go really far down, but that could be the buying opportunity. If that's the case, we've got targets going way all the way up here for wave 3. That could hit somewhere between $1.61 and $1.84. That's just based on standard extension targets of what would be the top of our wave 3. And again, that's just based on the 1-2 that we have here. These are just standard Elliott wave Fibonacci pinball targets. With all that being said, there are some things to consider. So like I said, we could actually dip below our immediate support, again, around 24.7 cents without jeopardizing the whole pattern. If we do break this 19-20 cent mark, there's a good chance we're going to go lower. So that would be a pretty scary situation there. Not sure what your strategy would be. Right now, we're sitting at 27 cents. Could be a 50% loss, 60% loss, not so sure. But with crypto crashes, you typically have a pretty quick rebound. So really depends on what you want to do. If you want to buy right now, probably better to go dollar cost average, unless you're gutsy and you're trying to take a bet. You're going to keep an eye on this. You have a tight stop set. Whatever works for you, you do you. I've not personally sold yet. The warning sign that I keep harping on that I'll be looking for is Bitcoin and Ethereum breaking their major supports. So for Bitcoin, we have a major support at 39,600. And for Ethereum, it sits around 3307. If either one of those breaks, that's red lights flashing in my opinion. And I would definitely start to unload and reallocate funds out of most of my cryptos, to be exact. Aside from that, we're going to keep seeing if we see more of a rally. Sentiment is shifting. We do see somewhat of a pattern breaking out in Ethereum, but nothing particularly bullish just yet. So the final thing I'd like to point out is that this would be a wave 1 of a larger wave 3 based on my green pattern. There is also a confluence here. So based on where your 1-2 goes, your first wave will typically fall between the 0.38 and the 0.618 extensions. So that would be between 50 cents and 68 cents. So the way we're projecting it right now, that does fall right in about the 68 cent mark, which is the 0.61 extension. That bodes very well for future rallying. If you hit the 0.61 extension for your subwave 1, your subwave 3 would, in theory, target all the way up to the 1.618 range later on. So that would give us some pretty good capability, pretty good credibility for having a much stronger rally later on. So again, this is right now just pure speculation. A lot of assumptions at work. Let's see where we get. Are we going to start rallying right away, or do we have a nominally lower low before we're fully reset? It's not completely clear yet. So don't forget to subscribe to keep getting my updates on this. If we have any kind of impending turn for the worse, whatever it is, I'll have updates. I'll be dialing up the frequency of videos to keep you guys posted. And if you enjoyed my video, don't forget to like. Until next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.